He's got bread and it's pretty damn good. He's got a new hobby. Why not continue to make the bread on KFI? Boy, do the Buccaneers suck or what's going on? I thought we were supposed to have a good game tonight. You know, the Breeze Brady um, um, ball off, but this game sucks. Guten Abend, wie geht's? It's 38-0. Really? I bet it was. I bet it was. I'm waiting for one up at the Antelope Valley Fairgrounds. Though I might go to one up in Kern County. And I think actually it would be worth it to go to one in Nevada because I sense that they're less packed. I mean, but on the other hand, I mean, I have what I need. Um, you can never have too much ammo. I'll say that. But um, I I reload 300 blackout, uh, so I'm all set up there. Yeah, I heard about the shot show. Heard about that deal. We had snow at my house today, which is why I'm wearing my cool sweater with the Napoleon pocket. Yeah, it was cold at my house. Sehr kalt aus mein Hause. Ja, es ist scheiß November. The end of the scheiß Jahre. Makiki. Was that on Oahu? Dogs love the fucking snow. Dogs go nuts for the snow. I was about to show you a good picture and hold it up, but it hits on my phone. Yeah, I'm from Aina, by Niu Valley in Oahu. I was born at Kaiser Hospital and I grew up on Puumamani Street in Aina. No, I'm doing I have a Connect Pal episode that will drop tomorrow on Monday to coincide with all the lawsuits that are going to be filed in Philadelphia and all that. Um, but I would say, um, if you're pinning your hopes on some discovery of some widespread corruption between Ohio and Pennsylvania and all that, you're not going to show it. Can you show incompetence? Yeah, I mean, like I've been saying, you have a situation where all these counties that have never seen this volume of mail-in ballots now suddenly have to do that, and they weren't set up for it. Even here in California, where it's all mail-in, you would not believe how many ballots have not been counted in California, in Los Angeles County, by the way. So, but the deal is for this to be a conspiracy so to encompass so many counties, you can't keep that secret. There's no deep state that can do that. There's none whatsoever. Um, it's still remarkable that 71 million people voted for Trump and he lost because 74 million voted for Biden. Um, so wait, let me hear. Yeah, there were some software issues, but it changed a couple thousand votes. Um, uh, but they showed it was a human error, and it was a Republican registrar. And I would say that if you believe a conspiracy killed John F. Kennedy, then you probably believe that there's 12,000 people who can keep a secret about the Trump thing. But I think a lot of people, well, I do think it was called too early because you're seeing in Arizona it's narrowing. Um, Nevada it's narrowing and all that. Hmm. Tom Brady doesn't look happy, everybody. I haven't been asked to fill in for John and Ken, and if they ask me, I'm going to say no because I'm kind of tired of filling in on Thanksgiving and Christmas and all that shit. So I've already said no to Thanksgiving and the day after Thanksgiving, and I will certainly say no to filling in on Veterans Day when the only veteran at the station has filled in for 13 years. I'm kind of over that shit. Me and my daughter are gonna go do Veterans Day shit on Veterans Day. You know the thing?
The Bidens were both wearing blackface.
Where's my corn pop was a bad dude?
Last night, right here in Wilmington, folks all over the world saw the true possibilities of America.
says a number of Republicans on Capitol Hill have reached out to Biden after his win. South Carolina Democratic Representative James Clyburn says President Trump should concede the election to Biden.
We are in a very dire set of consequences here, and we had better get hold of ourselves in this country and stop catering to the whims of one person.
He says what matters to him is whether or not the Republicans
Who was that?
work with Democrats to help preserve the integrity of democracy.
Apparently Trump can pardon himself.
After back-to-back storms moved in this weekend, bringing rain and snow to much of the state.
3 hours ago.
Oh, awesome. Oh, that's not where I left him. I mean, this is shocking. Thank you for handing this to me.
Who knew they were going to catch it that fast?
Where?
Alex Trebek has died. Trebek was 80 years old. He had pancreatic cancer. Trebek was diagnosed
Corn Pop was a bad dude. Here we go.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
episode last year. One contestant didn't know the final Jeopardy answer, but left a message for Alex.
Drew, you're smiling. I like that. Let's take a look at your response. Did you come up with the right one? No? What is we love you? Thank you. Cost you $19.95. $5.
Jeopardy says episode
Does everybody know that Alex Trebek had the answers on a card? He didn't actually know the answers. You all know that, right? I love Jeopardy. I mean, I think Alex Trebek was a lucky guy. He got the most amazing gig, short of Vanna White. No, I'm still doing keto. I do let myself cheat a little more because I found that with the exercises that I'm doing, with the running and lifting, I can afford like a big scoop of ice cream, or something like that, or a bowl of cereal every once in a while. But yeah, I like fitting in 38 waist pants, and now they're loose on me. So I'm about to take the amazing step of buying 36 waist pants. And you know what I do? I have a 40-pound rucksack, and I do 2 miles in that at 5 a.m. with the dogs, 6 a.m. And I listen to Armstrong and Getty. That's I was on the air watching Notre Dame. I announced that live, that Notre Dame beat Clemson. Because I made a joke about Pete Buttigieg being mayor of not South Bend, but Bend South. I'm streaming. So don't say our usual words.
Yes. Did you have any audio of the bar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll end it with, hey, this is library. I have a Trump-Biden mashup. See, here's my desktop. Here's my sound. I'm going to fire Corn Pop, and then Trump saying, ride it, and then Shannon saying, what a sausage fest. What the fuck?
It's 52 in Santa Monica, 50 in Encino, 55 in El Segundo, and 51 in Van Nuys. We lead local live from the KFI Bar Newsroom. I'm Danny Max.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Ride it. They say ride it like a cowboy. Just ride it. Ride that sucker right through.
What a sausage fest.
Hey, this is library.
Gotta end it with Shannon saying, what a sausage fest. I don't know. I think I might have lost the. Do police even have RPGs? Handle drop?
The Clinton Foundation has done a lot of really good work. That's why I'm voting for Eric Garcetti.
It looks like we're coming to a stop out here. The door is open. This guy
No, 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 no.
Yeah, this is not going to end very well.
Super hyper local Sunday with Brain Suits on KFI.
That's a really old. You have my permission to delete that one. I didn't know you were going to play that one. KFI AM 640. It is. Wait, was my mic not on just then? Oh, okay. So I need to start over again? Okay. You have my permission to delete that intro. KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. It is Super Hyper Local Sunday. Yeah, I got in trouble for that one because that one obviously is way too long. It is way too long. So plus very dated drops. Garcetti drop in that one. So you can right click on that one right now. Hey, welcome. We're going to run down all the news that you need to know to win your Monday, November 9th, tomorrow, as the Trump Re-election Committee and his personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, are scheduled to drop a whole bunch of lawsuits in a whole bunch of places. So that'll either dominate the news or it will not. That's my prediction on that particular thing. It will either dominate the news or it won't dominate the news. I should probably get this off my chest now. I have a racist folksy anecdote to tell, and frankly, it's breaking news. Producer Sam, did you notice a particularly pungent chili smell when you came in here? Was it lingering? Okay, so here's the deal. I'm over at Whole Foods. And usually they have the fried chicken out, which is great. The fried chicken is phenomenal. They're very underrated. I never hear anyone talking about it. It's really good. They didn't have that, so I was going to fall back on soup. So I said, well, what soups do you have? And the woman, because you don't self-serve anymore, you just point to the stuff and she scoops it for you. And I said, well, what do you have for soup? And she said, cream of mushroom. And we both looked at each other and like, who invented that? Probably the guy who said, I'm going to drink whatever comes out of that animal's udder. And it just, cream of mushroom, seriously. And I said, well, usually you guys have chili out. And she goes, oh, yeah, we do. We have a beef chili, and it's a traditional chili, no beans in it. Real chili is sauce and beef, right? Like you go to Barney's Beanery, that's real chili. Then you add rice or you add beans, or go to Chili John's here in world famous Chili John's here in Burbank. So they had a traditional chili, and she looked at me, and I have a mask on. It's Whole Foods. And by the way, all you judgy judgers, you don't have to wear your mask in the parking garage just when you get on the escalator. So EABOD. So anyway, I have my mask on. I'm looking at her. She's looking at me, and she goes, "It's really spicy, though." And I said, "Really spicy?" She goes, "Yeah, it's really spicy." And I said, "Then why do you sell it?" And she goes, well, some people like it. And I'm making a joke. And I said, what do you mean, some people? And I can't escape the feeling that she looked at me, even though I'm wearing a mask, I'm wearing a Norwegian sweater, and I have piercing, icy, judgmental blue eyes. And I'm looking at her with my blue, judgmental eyes, which are quite piercing. And she said, what she was really saying is, it's too spicy for you people. That is damn right. I've gotten that at a certain chain where the chickens are crazy. When I order the spicy stuff, I get that look about, fair warning, it's really spicy. But she said that to me. She said, well, some people think it's really spicy. And I was just joking. And I said, dude, you mean some people? And she went, oh yeah, no, it's really good. You'll like it. But it was spicy as hell. GD, she was absolutely right. It was really good, but man, she wasn't kidding. It was fair warning, and it doesn't matter if you're Honky McGill like me. It was spicy AF, and she said, yeah, a lot of people are bringing it back. Who would bring it back? Like you get in your car and take a bite, then you go back upstairs and say, this is too spicy, And she said, this is really spicy, and it turns out she wasn't making a racial judgment. She was just telling the damn truth. She was speaking truth to power or whatever, or truth to customer. It was the spiciest damn stuff I'd had. But I finished it, if you notice. And by the way, you're welcome, morning show tomorrow. I didn't put the empty in here. I should, so I've done that before. Trusting the cleaning staff. but I did take it down to the break room and I threw it in there where you can still smell it. Just the sauce, but it was really good. Oh yeah. Oh really? Oh man, I should have told you about that. That chili is very strong. It's really I had every bite. It was terrific. But I mean it's cumulative. I don't have dairy to wash my mouth out. It just built up in my mouth, but it was really, really good. But I can't help but feel like I suffered the sting of racism today. That's all I know. My struggle is funny. Yeah, I know. I want to go back to her and say sorry about my little joke I was making. It turns out you're absolutely correct. So we have a controversy on Siri. I need to find it. But if you ask Siri how old is the president, it tells you how old Kamala Harris is. And if you, but it was different if you, I can't do Google now because I'm streaming at unsheepyourself.com on YouTube. But somebody asked Siri, how old is the president? And here is what it thought for a while.
Just a moment.
It actually comes up with HMMMMMM. This is what it said. And
Still trying. Kamala Harris was born 56 years ago on Tuesday, October 20th, 1964.
dun dun dun. So anyway, the question was, how old is the president? So I did it on OK Google, which I've totally disabled. I found the way to disable it on Android or LG phones anyway, but I had to reactivate the thing and ask it, and it said Donald Trump is 74. So it knows what the president is. Apparently, so is Tom Brady. Approximately 4 if you're missing this debacle on TV. What was supposed to be the Sunday night football game of the year turns out to be a total dog, absolute dog. The Saints over the Tampa Bay Brady's, the Brady Nears, 38-0 until Tampa Bay got a charity 30. There is no reason to watch anything on TV, or else you might be exposed to Chris Collinsworth. You don't want that. Well, it was one of those weekends that we've been having more and more often, where the corpses pile up in Los Angeles County and Los Angeles City. Also, when we come back, wait till you hear how many uncounted ballots there are at LA County registrars. This is a county with 10 million known residents. Probably more like 11 or 12 million total residents. There's really no explanation for those extra ones. But anyway, it will surprise you. Wait till you hear that when we come back. Plus, dead bodies all over the place in LA County this weekend. It is Super Hyperlocal Sunday, your chance to catch up on everything that happened here in the Southland for the 19 million people that live south of Santa Barbara, so you can win your Monday. Brian Suits in here until 10 o'clock, KFI M640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Danny Max for the news.
U.S. COVID cases are up. President-elect Joe Biden calling for unity.
True story on that chili.
The Jeopardy game show host Alex Trebek has died following a battle with pancreatic cancer. We have problems up.
Here, I'll give you an example of my piercing blue eyes.
Anthony and Gigi most certainly do. So when their sewer line burst, there was no hesitation.
You see me judging you? I'm judging this thing. There we go.
We have to do a pasta song.
Oh, it's no longer Bruno in the White House, right? It's something else.
I'm not sure. I'll see if I can find it.
But it's still Katerina's club.
I think so.
Yeah.
He completed the job while remaining upbeat and answering every question.
That's Blue Steel. This is Magnum.
This isn't Anthony and Gigi's first experience with Mike Diamond Plumbing. They're
Always
There.
professional, quick to respond, reasonably priced.
And every tech is extremely friendly.
In other words, Mike Diamond Plumbing has been nothing short of miraculous.
I'm Mike Diamond, and I guarantee my plumbers will show up on time and smell good, or your house call is free.
Schedule your service at MikeDiamond.com or call 1-800-446-MIKE.
Contractor license number 399170.
Southland weather from KFI tonight. Cool and cloudy with a chance of rain. High surf advisories in effect until 10 o'clock tonight. Mid-60s. We have a crash in downtown LA on the 110. This is on the 110 southbound at 3rd Street. It's picked up the right lane there. Drive in, stop and go from 101. And it's Cerritos. We have good news. Earlier crash on the 90.
southbound at baseline. Clean up first.
Yeah, there's no good Armenian news today.
Watch for delays.
The Azerbaijan army and mercenaries are on the outskirts of Stepanakert, the capital of Nagorno-Karabakh.
People across the world facing a tough choice.
And
Dream of education or drop out.
apparently the UN doesn't give a shit.
You don't have to mention it on the air, just if you could read that, he'll roll on it really quick.
I'll just read it.
Yeah, just do it during the commercial break, so because I just need to record it and send it to her because they're going to be playing that at Smart Fine.
Oh,
Yeah.
so is the mic in queue? What do you want me to do? Oh, these are playing Inside Smart and Final as you shop. Attention, Smart and Final shoppers. Hi, it's Brian Suits from KFI. Today, while you shop, we invite you to help us raise money for our 10th annual KFI. I'll start over. Attention, Smart and Final shoppers. It's Brian Suits from KFI. I know. Today, while you shop, we invite you to help us raise money for our 10th annual KFI Pastathon to benefit Katarina's Club, a local charity that provides meals to thousands of children in need throughout Southern California. When you check out today, let your cashier know you'd like to make a $10 donation, and they'll add it to your transaction. Every donation helps to feed 14 kids. Last year, we raised over $430,000 and 100,000 pounds of pasta and sauce. Together, we can beat that and continue to feed more than 25,000 kids every week. Visit smartandfinal.com/pastathon for details on how you can help this worthy cause. Tune in to KFI on the iHeartRadio app, and happy holidays. Fuck yeah! How about that shit? I'm a one-read wonder. Did you hear me emote? Well, you're walking around Smart and Final, that comes on. Now I'm going to go to the Smart and Final in Quartz Hill, and I'm going to make sure I hear it. I'm going to go, hey!
Less junk, more happiness.
1-800-GOT-JUNK is full service junk removal.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point
Call me at 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
or visit me at 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
I look at that, that's really firm. I need something a little softer than that.
Rest easy. The Sleep Number 360 smart bed.
Gotta say, that was a good read.
Sleep Number 7.
Can it really help you fall
Yes, by gently warming
No, he will not shut down Guantanamo Bay.
your movements. I automatically adjust to keep you effortlessly comfortable. Sleep Number. Proven quality sleep is life-changing sleep.
And he will not move the remaining detainees to the United States for trials. He might speed them up, but he will not be shutting down Guantanamo Bay because he's partially responsible. I mean, they had 8 years to shut that fucking thing down. And remember, Obama made all that a big deal about, oh, I'm going to shut down Guantanamo Bay. And on day one of his administration, he signed a executive order to form a commission to look into how to shut down Guantanamo Bay. 8 years later, it was just as open.
System is going to love you if you call right now and schedule a system rejuvenation. It's the best $129 you'll ever spend.
Yeah, Gitmo. You're right. That's a good analogy with Spandau.
Yeah, it'll keep you cool, but it's hard to spell.
Every day for over 70 years, KTLA 5 News has been right here with
But Khalid Sheikh Mohammed,
local news coverage than any other TV station.
he'll get a trial and he'll be found guilty. And guess what? He'll do life, but he won't be on American soil.
See for yourself. KTLA 5 News.
I'm queued up. I get my own bumpers.
Proud to be LA's very own. 20 years, 6
If he tried EOs for like a mandatory gun buyback and shit like that, there would be so many injunctions on him. Um, it just wouldn't be happening. Kamala can dream about that. And he said, high capacity magazine ban. Yeah, good luck. You know, a Judge Benitez in San Diego said even California can't do that. Wow, even my burps are really.
It's hard to say. It really is. On KFI.
KFI AM 640, it is Super Hyper Local Sunday. We are wrapping up a pretty violent weekend here in the Southland. I got to say, as we've been doing the show since 1963, we've had peaks and valleys. The 70s, of course, were a very violent peak in LA homicide. But lately, and I can only imagine it's because of early release from California prisons, but luckily, law and order is coming in the form of George Gascon. We'll get to the vote update here in a minute. Hikers found a man dead with a gunshot wound on a trail in Eaton Canyon Sunday morning, spurring a homicide investigation, officials said. This is Eaton Canyon, north of Altadena, very, very popular hiking trail complex. Deputies responded to the Eaton Canyon Nature Center around 6:30 a.m. to find the man down on the trail near the center's parking lot. The man had suffered at least one gunshot wound and was pronounced dead at the scene. A handgun was also found at the scene, but it remained unknown if the shooting is criminal or accidental in nature. And you might start suspecting suicide, or someone wanted to make it look like a suicide. The investigation remains ongoing. Further details were immediately available. So there is that. We'll get to the guy who was run over. But another investigation underway Sunday to a shooting that left one man dead and another man injured in unincorporated LA. That's a code word for Compton. The shooting unfolded just before 11 p.m. Saturday in the 13100 block of San Pedro Street. It was there that deputies responded to the scene and located two men who were both suffering from gunshot wounds. Both were transported to the hospital where one died. The other was in unknown condition. Investigators say there was a large gathering at the location, and as several people were leaving, a shooting broke out. The incident was believed to be gang-related. Wait a minute, I have music for that now. It was believed to be gang-related. Okay, I'm going to give out a number, but the Sheriff's Homicide Bureau only has room for 11 callers. So be the first 11 callers with this number if you have any tips about this gang-related shooting. Again, get a pen. I'm going to give out a number, but you have to be one of the first 11. 323-890-5500. Don't get trampled in the rush if you have tips about this gang-related shooting that happened in front of a whole bunch of people, but nobody saw anything. And that's your update. Oh, wait, there's more to go. We're going to spread them out tonight. So, yeah, I guess it's dumb doing a Twitter poll because you could just Google it and you would find the answer. But I would just say, keep in mind, not everybody, of the 10 million legal residents of LA County, let's say 40% are below 18 and can't vote. Okay, so 60% of 11 million is like 6.5 million or something like that. How many ballots are uncounted in LA County here on Sunday night, the 8th of November, 2020? The answer may surprise you. Here is ABC7 with that answer. By the way, the answer is over 600,000.
history-making election in California. For the first time, every registered voter in the state received a mail-in ballot, and counting them all is taking time.
In LA County, more than 700,000 ballots still have to be counted. Eyewitness News reporter Eileen Fleur spoke to the county registrar, and she's live with us tonight. Eileen?
Mark and Ellen, the LA County Registrar says 5.7 million vote-by-mail ballots went out to registered voters in LA County, and at this point, it's looking like 75% of the ballots cast were through vote by mail.
This is your registrar. This is Dean Logan, formerly of King County, Washington.
The count continues in LA County.
When you're talking about hundreds of thousands of ballots, that just takes time and resources to get done.
As of Thursday night,
Time and resources.
LA County's chief election official, Dean Logan, estimates the number of outstanding ballots still to be counted, more than 790,000. It's the first election.
Wait, what? Wait, what? That's a different number.
Number of outstanding ballots still to be counted, more than 790,000. It's the first election where each registered voter in LA County, 5.7 million, was sent a vote-by-mail ballot due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
There were a lot of ballots, a lot of vote-by-mail ballots that were returned in the mail on Tuesday, also walked into vote centers on Tuesday or dropped at our drop boxes.
That's what I did.
We still have a large number of votes still to be counted.
Still, some people are concerned about possible voter fraud or other irregularities.
Now, so here's the deal. Statistically, they know the breakdown early on, and so it would require 600,000 Jackie Lacey for district attorney ballots to overturn this ridiculous choice of the voters for George Gascon to be the LA County prosecuting attorney. And they know that that's not likely. That's not going to happen. And so that's how they're able to call a race like that. But you see, the problem I've always had with how California does this is that if it were in dispute, if it were close, if we didn't have such a dark blue state and it were closer, this ludicrousy would be all over the news for 17 days. Because why? Because California is one of the idiotic states that allow you to postmark it on the election day. And the reason it works up north in Oregon is because when we voted for all mail-in balloting, it was made really, really clear. The reason it's going to work is because you will have a result on election night. Because all of you Oregonians, you're going to have it received by 8 p.m. on Tuesday, on the first Tuesday of November, or whatever, 8 p.m., whatever the election day of a special election is. Has to be received on that day, not postmarked. And that's why it works. And then what Oregon does is, if you're a registered voter, 3 weeks before the election, you get a thing in the mail that says, today is the last day that you can reasonably expect your ballot to be in by election day. Get it in the mail today, or drop it off at any one of the boxes in your at your county seat, at your county courthouse. And that's what you're left doing. If you don't mail it, you can't guarantee it gets in. If it doesn't get in, it doesn't get counted. And by the way, that's been adjudicated. Oregon won because it's been fair warning. Everyone understands the deal there. It's only by a miracle of statistics that there's not some contested race or prop that is hanging by only a few thousand votes. Well, 790,000 were outstanding when ABC 7 did that story. Just absolutely amazing. And so that, by the way, I still maintain that a tax increase, Prop Triple H in 2017, that was the trick that Dean Logan used to get it passed. Because ballots kept trickling in. And anyway, I'll keep my accusations to myself. A man killed with his own car after a road rage incident. We'll get to that right after this. It is Super Hyperlocal Sunday. Brian Suits in here till 10 p.m. catching up on all the news so you can win your Monday. KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Danny Max with the news. It's It's almost carbon monoxide because of the in-house barbecue season too. So last I saw, Trump was getting closer in Arizona and Nevada. Yeah, the Garcia, Katie Smith one. Yeah, I gotta say, I think Garcia's gonna pull that one out. Because I know that I dropped mine off on election day.
The LAPD is moving more than 200 officers back in patrol duty, reducing desk hours, and cutting special deployments because of budget cuts. The LA City Council approved a $150 million budget cut. LAPD Chief Michael Moore says the LAPD will also stop special staff teams that cover homelessness issues, end its air support, and cut back on its robbery, homicide, gangs, and narcotics units. City Council members cut the LAPD's budget in response to protests over the summer. Los Angeles fire officials say an outdoor heating device is to blame for today's home fire in the Harbor Gateway community. The fire broke out early this morning and killed an 81-year-old man. Fire officials say they were able to knock out the fire within 21 minutes. Discovered the body in one of the rooms. We have a crash in downtown LA on the 110.
This is on the 110 southbound, right at 3rd Street. It's taking up the right lane. CHP's on the scene. Watch for some stop-and-go traffic from 101. And in Costa Mesa, we have good news. Earlier crash on the 405 southbound at the 73 has been cleared from lanes. Your drives up to full speeds in that area. And in the city of Orange, this is on the 55 northbound right after Chapman. Two-car crash out of lanes and on the right shoulder there. Watch for some looky-loo delays as you approach. KFI and the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Brian Van.
Yeah, right now it is Mike Garcia 50.1%, Christy Smith 49.9%. And the difference is 148,916 to 148,484.
With a Life Source whole house water system, you'll never need bottled water again because you'll have clean, delicious water at every faucet in your house. No salt, no chlorine, no chloramines, and no filters to change or maintenance of any kind for years. Just install it, forget about it. Drink it, cook with it, bathe in it, all for less than buying bottled water. Life Source can
Yeah, like 430 votes separating those two.
California factory. There are no dealers, no middleman. Everything is U.S. made. Today for full service and full confidence in your
But there'll be a recount.
800-334-5009. That's 800-334-5009 or visit lifesourcewater.com. Life Source Water. Taste and feel the difference.
Southland Weather from KFI. A high surf advisory is in effect until 10 o'clock tonight. Tomorrow, sunny highs in the lower to mid-60s. And tomorrow night, mostly clear, lows in the 40s to around 50. Tuesday, sunny with highs in the 60s. We lead local live from the
Daryl Issa won, by the way, in San Diego.
Looking to save extra money for the holidays? One way is to refinance your mortgage to a lower interest rate. At Cash Call Mortgage, we've dropped our low interest rates even more. Right now, we're offering an incredibly low 1.99%
Well, Garcetti is going to be Secretary of Transportation.
15-year fixed loan. If you have a mortgage interest rate above 2%, call and see how much you can save. We're a direct lender
And I don't know what Measure J was. It wasn't on my ballot. I'm in Kevin McCarthy's district. I'm so far north in LA County. I'm actually in Kevin McCarthy's district.
Get these amazing low rates before they're gone. For a free quote, go to cashcallmortgage.com or call 800-745-1952. That's 800-745-1952. 800-745-1952.
Your roof is taken up beating. Furnace like summer heat, freezing cold winters, rain and wind. Semper Solaris is an Owens Corning Platinum preferred contractor offering a 50-year warranty. They'll install the last roof you'll ever need. They're local and veteran owned. They get the job done with esprit de corps and honor. Act now and get a free upgrade to our inspection. 877-211-5591. Cannot be combined with any other offers. Some restrictions apply. See us on the 978 expires 11/30/2020.
It was just a get together. No big deal. Everybody felt fine. But now I'm super sick. Everyone is sick. I just wish we had been more careful. It would have been easier than this. So wear a mask.
Yeah, there were some California counties that were 75% Trump, 25% Biden, or 74%. Like, where is it? Lassen County. Oh, fuck, I don't have a bumper. Yeah, you got to tell me 2 minutes. Usually I get my own bumper, but he didn't give me a 2-minute warning. Yeah. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm used to that with Eric. KFI AM 640, super hyper local Sunday. Brian sits in here until 10 p.m. with information with fun facts that you can win your workplace. We are a big state. We are a very, very big state, 58 counties. And pretty much all of Southern California went for Biden-Harris. The closest seems to be, is that right? Is that right? Is San Bernardino County, 55% Biden, 42% Trump. LA County, for the record, 71.2% Biden, 26.9% Trump. Ventura, 60% Biden, 37% Trump. Yeah, you get the deal. Let's just for S and Gs. Let's see. In San Francisco, 80% Biden, 19% Trump. I don't believe we can beat that. So but then Nancy Pelosi gets returned with like an 85% mandate, and to Alameda County, 81% Biden Harris, and that's Oakland. That's where Kamala Harris is from. Marin County. Now you go to the very northern bit of. Well, actually, no, you don't. Go to Kern County. I'm so far north. I'm in Kevin McCarthy's district. Kern County went for Trump 50.3% to 47.7%. Just north of it is Tulare County, 53% Trump, 45% Biden. Kings County right next to it. And then Fresno County, it was close, 52 Biden, 45 Trump. Then you get into a string of counties all around Lake Tahoe that go all the way up to the Oregon border and out to the Pacific Ocean. And they all went Trump, Trump, Trump. And Mariposa, Tuolumne, that's how you pronounce it, Calaveras, Amador, Placer, and all that. So then you get up to Lassen County in the state of California, the state that you're in, the state that Biden won overwhelmingly. Lassen County went 75% Trump, 24% Biden. Now, of course, there's only 8,700 people who voted for Trump and 2,000 who voted for Biden. But point is, it was overwhelming. And then Modoc County, the most rectangular county in all of California, 70% Trump. Siskiyou County, 56% Trump. And by the way, it is the people up north who are always pushing the split California thing more strongly than anyone else. I forgot what. Do you guys remember up north they call it the state of Lincoln? The state of what? They have a name for it. It wouldn't be called that. It would be called like Northern California if it was a state, if it's split off. But anyway, that sentiment up there is very, very strong. Because most of these counties up there were at least 55% Trump or more. Tehama County, a real county, 65. And but there's a tech billionaire that's going to put that on the next ballot, splitting California into 4 states. But you bet up there they would go for that, and you can see why. But it is interesting. In south of Fresno, there are 3 counties that went for Trump. California 25, Santa Clarita. That is super close between Mike Garcia and Christy Smith, and I'll tell you how close it is. Try this on for size. Mike Garcia currently leads by 148,916 votes. Christy Smith is just behind him at 148,484. So there'll probably be an automatic recount there, depending on. This is with 83% counted. So anyway, this is in the last break. I played you that story that as of the story, when it was filed on Saturday, there were 790,000 ballots still uncounted in LA County. Now it's down to 610,000, something like that. So anyway, there are a few races that this affects, and Santa Clarita is one of them. Mike Garcia, the F-18 pilot, dude, Republican, still leading. So this happened in, again, unincorporated Los Angeles, Rancho Dominguez, which is just west of Compton. A man died after being beaten and run over repeatedly during what investigators believe to be a road rage incident. Early Sunday, authorities received a report about an assault following a crash on South Laurel Park Road around 5:40 a.m., according to LA County Sheriff's Department. Deputies from the Carson station responded to the scene and found an injured 67-year-old man on the ground outside his own vehicle. Detectives determined that the victim and another person were involved in a crash that led them to exit their vehicles and argue. The confrontation turned physical, and the perpetrator beat the victim before entering the victim's car and running him over repeatedly, the Sheriff's Department said. Officials said after the victim's vehicle became disabled, the attacker got out and fled on foot. Deputies detained the person down the street, and a witness identified him as the attacker. Officers arrested the suspect on suspicion of murder. His name has not been released. So there you go. There's more of these, and we'll get to them. We're still trying to figure out why Orange County voted for Kanye West more than any other county in California, and for that matter, any other county in America. As the nation watches a tight presidential race and agonizes over the future of American democracy, Kim Kardashian's husband received thousands of votes from Orange County residents. He was listed as a vice presidential candidate in California on the American Independent Party ticket headed by Rocky De La Fuente Guerra. As of noon Wednesday, the ticket had received 3,641 votes from Orange County residents. So I don't know. Is that a goof vote, or is that the kids? Is that newly registered 18-year-olds saying, no, totally, Kanye would be a great vice president. Even he can totally break ties in the Senate. A few people voiced their dismay on Twitter, on Kanye West's Twitter page, or on his feed. One Twitter account read, 2,623 adults in Orange County voted for Kanye. Post-election task, find all and cancel their voting rights. Another said, oh, Lord. Probably a pithy comment there on that one. So there you go. We'll just see if Kanye is biding his time and poised for that 2024 run now that he's had a taste of politics. We'll just have to find out. Or someone dangles yarn in front of him or a shiny object and he becomes obsessed with darts or pickled herring or something. All right, we'll take a break and come back. More mayhem around the Southland. That more coming up. And the future of LAPD's budget. All of that coming up on Super Hyperlocal Sunday on the 8th of November, 2020. KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Danny Max with the news.
President-elect Biden's transition website will run Build Back Better. BuildBackBetter.com maps out the president-elect's priorities when he takes office. 9 people within the LA Dodgers.
Yeah, how Maoist is that? That you have all these far-left people saying, you know, we're not going to let you off the hook. And we're going over your Twitter feed. We're making lists and all that shit.
Too in the same week. Very professional and very fast. Love, love, love.
That's a lot of love for a plumber.
She gave him a 5-star review.
5 stars? I rarely give anybody 5 stars.
You don't have enough love in your heart.
You saying I should smell my plumber?
No,
But if you want an experience like Dana's, you should call the Smell Good Plumbers.
I'm Mike Diamond. I guarantee my plumbers will show up on time and smell good, or your house call is free. Read a few of the testimonials and then book your appointment online at MikeDiamond.com or just call us at 1-800-446-MIKE. Contractor's license number 399170.
I don't remember Measure J.
Rain, high surf advisory is in effect until 10 o'clock tonight. Tomorrow, sunny in the mid-60s.
The Harris Senate seat, apparently the word is Barbara Lee from the Bay Area, Democratic, black female. Alex Padilla is Newsom's little butt buddy, and that's who probably, the knee-jerk first impression would be Alex Padilla or Xavier Becerra, or Javier Becerra, as he sometimes says, because he used to be in Congress. But Gavin loves to leave his virtue signal on as he's driving down the road, and so probably Barbara Lee to have the first black woman in the U.S. Senate. Then Gavin gets to do a victory lap on how diverse he is and the whole thing.
If you don't know what to do when you get lost on a hike, Stuff You Should Know, an incomplete compendium of mostly interesting things, is here to help. And it also has an entire chapter on donuts. That's less useful if you're on a hike, but I mean, tell me that's not stuff you should know. Stuff You Should Know, an incomplete compendium of mostly interesting things. Wherever books are sold.
Contractor license 1047-781. For real? True story. And the weird part is that a low voltage connection is what started.
Yeah, but Loreno is pretty trounced by Kamala during that race.
Electricity moves, it vibrates whatever it passes through. I knew that, but the vibrations are teeny tiny. Are they teeny tiny or itty bitty? I always thought that.
Plus, she would be the dumbest member of the Senate. So Mazie Hirono from Hawaii would finally have someone to point to and say, that is a dumbass.
This week is the 50th anniversary of Let's Blow Up the Whale That Beached Itself.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Gary and Shannon were mentioning that.
Yeah.
It's funny to me that, that's really famous up in Oregon. And I was surprised that people didn't know about it.
Yeah.
ExplodingWhale.com doesn't exist anymore, though.
What's it called? The first episode of the second season of The Mandalorian basically did it.
I know, yeah, I was thinking that.
Legal titles to all our homes are online now. All thieves have to do is forge your signature on a quitclaim deed stating your home. Then they take out loan after leave you.
Yep, I'm cued. You've all heard about the exploding whale story, right?
Identity theft programs. That's why I protect my home with Home Title Lock. Home Title Lock puts a barrier around your home's title. The instant they detect tampering, they shut it down. Go to HomeTitleLock.com and register your address to see if you're already evicted. Then use code Rudy for 30 free days of protection. I protect my home with Home Title Lock. Go to HomeTitleLock.com and register your address to see if you're already evicted. That's code Rudy at HomeTitleLock.com. Riverside and Huntington Beach Harley has secured 0% APR financing on all new Harley Davidsons this week. That's right, 0% APR and financing terms that can save you thousands on interest. Over 1,000 new and used Harleys in stock at Riverside and Huntington Beach Harley. Rate free, immediate delivery. Finance experts on site to get you approved. 0% APR on all new Harleys this week. Word up. Buy a Harley and pay zero interest. Riverside and Huntington Beach Harley Davidson has the largest new Harley inventory in California. It's the best time to buy at Riverside and Huntington Beach Harley. Credit and something. Asthma symptoms can attack anywhere, like on a city street. Now you can get fast relief anywhere with new improved Primatene Mist, the only FDA-approved.
I didn't see, did UCLA lose their ass to Colorado?
Or at your kitchen table. Primatene Mist starts working quickly, opening up your airways to restore free breathing. For temporary relief of mild symptoms of intermittent asthma, use Primatene Mist to breathe easy again. Available at CVS, Rite Aid, and Walgreens. Use as directed.
It's been quite the year. That's why we're starting the holiday joy earlier than ever at Ulta Beauty. Early Black Friday deals drop
try curbside pickup. Get ready to say hello holidays and see the joy all season long. Ulta Beauty, the possibilities are beautiful.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded. Wouldn't it make just so much sense if whoever won the majority vote, whoever guaranteed free pizza, 2-hour recesses, won the vote? Get the most votes. Thank you, you won. Then the election would be over. Bill Hill. Mornings from 6 to 10. For 3 minutes after we open the polls on KFI.
KFI AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. It is Super Hyper Local Sunday. Brian sits in here till 10. And then producer Simsy, what is the exact 50th anniversary? You're saying this week it's the 50th anniversary of the exploding whale of Newport, Oregon? Or do we have an exact day? It is however, the golden end, or no, I guess it's diamond. 50 is diamond, right? 75 is platinum. So tomorrow, the diamond anniversary of an exploding gray whale, everybody. And if you don't know about it, or you haven't seen it in a while, true deal, 1970, not a legend. And I used to work at KBBT 105.7 in Portland. I met the guy when he retired. It was a big deal because this was the jewel in his crown was that he was the exploding whale reporter. And in 1970, gray whales, you understand, are not only delicious, but they power our motor vehicles. And so they were hunted to near extinction. So it was very rare. By the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, very rare that a dead whale washed ashore. No one knew what to do. And so this thing washes ashore, and then biology does what biology do, and it started to rot. And I have been up on the beaches in Oregon. My dogs found a dead sea lion once, and it was bloated, and they did what dogs do. They rolled in it until it burst. And they were covered in gooey, rotting biology. Just disgusting. And so the whale is 20 tons of that. And so in Oregon, unlike California, in Oregon, the beaches are under the jurisdiction of the Department of Transportation, ODOT. And so that's why Oregon State Police patrol the beaches, not lifeguards. So I'm giving you far too many tangents for this. But so anyway, here's a little bit of the story that I guarantee you're going to hear the crap out of for the next 5 days. This may even shove Biden found on beach out of the news. But this was 1970s exploding whale.
It had to be said, the Oregon State Highway Division not only had a whale of a problem on its hands,
Paul Lindman.
It had a stinking whale of a problem. What to do with one 45-foot, 8-ton whale dead on arrival on the beach near Florida?
So the deal was they talked to marine biologists, they talked to experts and all this, and they no one knew what they used to do with them. So they had a couple options here. They had several good options, one bad one.
Couldn't be buried because it might soon be uncovered. It couldn't be cut up and then buried because nobody wanted to cut it up, and it couldn't be burned. So dynamite it was, some 20 cases or a half ton of it.
Okay, wait, what? Wait, what?
Some 20 cases or a half ton of it.
Dynamite.
The hope was that the long-dead Pacific gray whale would be almost disintegrated by the blast, and that any small pieces still around after the explosion would be taken care of by seagulls and other scavengers.
A sound theory that they put so much dynamite on the landward side of the whale that their theory was it's going to blow the whale out into the ocean, and even if it doesn't do that, the bits will be so small that predators will eat it and the whole thing. In fact, here's the Oregon Department of Transportation guy. This guy is right out of Central Casting. I need a 1970. This guy would be an extra in a Dirty Harry movie or the original Dirty Harry. He's got an aluminum hard hat and an orange jacket, and he just knows all about blowing up whales.
For his final observation. Well, I'm confident that it'll work. The only thing is we're not sure just exactly how much explosives it'll take to disintegrate this thing so the scavengers, seagulls, and crabs and whatnot can clean it up.
So right off the bat, George Thornton has identified the problem. They don't know how much explosives it takes to render 8 tons of whale into bite-sized chunks. So this is where Paul Lindman he waxes poetic here, right before the explosion. Now this is, by the way, this is a huge event. People from miles around pulled up to the beach. In Oregon, you can drive right onto the beach because it's a state highway. So people are in the parking lot, they're parking on the beach, and they were told to keep about a half mile away. I would have told them maybe a mile away, but anyway, I've never blown up a whale. But here's how that worked.
With the blasted blubber beyond all.
Oh, I gotta rewind this here.
Back a quarter of a mile away. The sand dunes there were covered with spectators and land blubber newsmen, shortly to become land blubber newsmen. With the blasted blubber beyond all believable bounds.
3, 2, 1.
You get a while?
6, 5. There's a little digital countdown. 3, 2, 1. Fire in the hole. And it's literally a pink mist. It's literally sand and a pink mist. And you're thinking, oh, it worked. They obliterated the gray whale. Nothing but bite-sized chunks, but they're only a quarter mile away. And so anyway, I'll let the audio do the talking. Those are chunks of whale hitting.
Our camera stopped rolling immediately after the blast. The humor of the entire situation suddenly gave way to a run for survival as huge chunks of whale blubber fell everywhere. Pieces of meat passed high over our heads while others were falling at our feet. The dunes were rapidly evacuated as spectators escaped both the falling debris and the overwhelming smell. A parked car over a quarter of a mile from the blast site was the target of one large chunk. The passenger compartment literally smashed. Fortunately, no human was hit as badly as the car. However, everyone on the scene was covered with small particles of dead whale. And
there's like a pristine 1970 Cadillac, and its roof is just caved in. No one was in there, luckily. A giant chunk of whale lands dead center of the roof of this 1970 Cadillac. And there was a lot of whale left over, and they just wound up bulldozing it into a hole. Good thing in 1970 the F word hadn't been invented, because that would have been all over the place. I mean, that's what I would have said. But no one had invented it in 1970.
What a sausage fest.
Exactly. So that's the Exploding Whale 50th anniversary. And what did you say, Sam, tomorrow? Oh, we'll have team coverage. We'll have a countdown all week long. But no, very famous story. The guy, Paul Lindman, has always had a great sense of humor about it. And when he retired, it was a big deal. And actually, I think if you go to Newport, Oregon, to the site of the Exploding Whale, there's actually a plaque with his name and the whole story on it and the whole thing. It was one of the great civil engineering failures of the 20th century, I would have to say. Right after the St. Francis Dam collapse in Santa Clarita in 1928 that killed 2,500 Angelinos. Right after that, Exploding Whale. All right, take a break, come back. Hour number 2 of Super Hyper Local Sunday. Right after this, we'll have sports ball scores from sports games of local interest, that and more. KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
If you find yourself agreeing with everything we say, we're doing it wrong.
Yeah, that was a big deal in Portland when Paul Lindman retired. That he had a great sense of humor about it. That everybody played the shit out of that that package that he did.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Batten down the hatches. I'm Danny Max, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. Tropical storm Ida has cut across Cuba today, and it's expected to be a hurricane before hitting the Florida Keys tonight or tomorrow. The storm already has left scores of dead.
And MIQ.
Hit last week as a major hurricane. This report brought to you by Mike Diamond, the Southland Plumber. Governor Newsom is now tasked with
the 46th president and tell us about the evidence that you have of dead people voting in this past election.
Well, number one, this is a contested election. The media doesn't decide who becomes president. If they did, you would never have a Republican president for forever. So we're discounting them. So what happened? The Trump team has canvassed all early voters and absentee mail-in ballots in Pennsylvania, and they found over 100 people they think were dead, but 15 people that we verified to have been dead who voted. But here's the one that gets me. 6 people registered after they died and voted. In Pennsylvania, I guess you're never out of it. If Republicans don't challenge and change the U.S. election system, there'll never be another Republican president elected again. President Trump should not concede. We're down to less 10,000 votes in Georgia. He's going to win North Carolina. We've gone from 93,000 votes to less than 20,000 votes in Arizona, or more votes to be counted. There are allegations of system failure, fraud. John James, do not concede. These computers in Michigan do not pass the smell test. Keep fighting for every legal and live vote.
You know what I'm kind of surprised no one has pointed out is that, remember, it was Hillary that told Biden, don't concede. No matter what you do, don't concede. Well, you know, Willie Brown's on the record. You know, this is open source. This is what this is what in abortion the media coverage about Kamala Harris has been. That's been off the limits. Even though it's wide open and it's out there, Willie Brown has talked about his affair with Kamala Harris when she was, I mean, she's 30 years younger than Willie Brown, right up to the point where she became San Francisco DA. I mean, it's out there, and it was never mentioned. And if you brought it up on Bill Maher or whatever, you were petty. But I mean, it goes to show what a climber she is, and that she has no central values or beliefs. She will do whatever or whoever to get ahead. And you're goddamn right, Willie Brown got her ahead. Because part of the thing is, he talks about, he named her to 2 boards that she had no business on. These state boards, like the Clean Air Resources Board. He supplemented her San Francisco city attorney salary with an extra $80,000 by being appointed to state boards. And you never heard that during this campaign because she never did a press conference. And she won't do a press conference until Biden's unexplained coma, you know, in February or whatever. But I'm still, I'm still holding out for my scenario where she resigns and Hillary takes over that seat. I think I have the short openings. It should be called, yeah, is it SHLS Vin Scully 2? Okay. Okay. Okay, so yeah, when I play, hey, there's a library.
Southland weather from KFI. High surf advisory is in effect for the next hour. Tomorrow, sunny highs in the lower to mid 60s. Tomorrow night, mostly clear, lows in the 40s to around 50. On Tuesday, sunny with highs in the 60s. It's 53 in Anaheim, 54 in Seal Beach, 55 in Redondo Beach, 52 in Fullerton. We lead local live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Danny Max.
The world is your toilet.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it! Hey, this is library.
Super Hyper Local Sunday with Brian Zeus.
And we start with breaking news from Hollywood. People stabbed and shot. I am telling each and every one of you right now, this is the last
Got to play my Stu Mundell.
No, 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 no.
That's why I'm voting for Eric Garcetti. Super hyper-local Sunday with Brian Suits on KFI.
Donald Trump don't trust China. China is oh.
KFI AM 640. Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. It is Super Hyper Local Sunday for the 8th of November, 2020. Get ready for a slew of lawsuits, injunctions, and all that kind of legal stuff, because that is the Trump team's plan to go at Michigan and others. Lindsey Graham was on Fox earlier today, telling what's his name, John James in Michigan, the Republican, not to concede. It's funny because everyone's conveniently forgetting that Hillary told Biden if he lost, don't concede. So if that apparently was their game plan, that if it was close but Trump was reelected, it would be Biden out there saying Corn Pop was a bad dude. So Lindsey Graham, just about this is by the way, this is Trump retweeting this from about 4 hours ago.
Out of it. If Republicans don't challenge and change the U.S. election system, there'll never be another Republican president elected again. President Trump should not concede. We're down to less 10,000 votes in Georgia. He's going to win North Carolina. We've gone from 93,000 votes to less than 20,000 votes in Arizona, or more votes.
So he's factual about that. It is narrowing, but you'll notice that the senior Republican leadership calling for this battle has narrowed, and you even have, the former Republican president calling Biden and Kamala Harris today and congratulating him. But then again, for the Bush family, it's a little personal because of how Trump treated Jeb Bush and the Bush family in general. And then for the McCain family, believe me, it's very personal. And that is ultimately the irony is that if Trump had just walked back his remarks, or if he had, when John McCain died, not been so petty about it, it's very possible that he would have won Arizona outright. Instead, what he got was a vendetta, personal enemy in Cindy McCain, who went around Arizona campaigning for Joe Biden. And I know that family took it deeply, deeply personal, the way their dad was treated, because I used to fill in for Meghan McCain. I'm friends with her, and then Jack, the son, were friends. I've never really gotten into it with them because it's a sensitive subject, but they took it very personal, very, very personal. But it could have been avoided. Well, who remembers this murder in 2015? A kid who was a Major League Baseball prospect, drafted by the Tampa Bay Rays in 2011. He developed problems in their farm system, but talent wasn't one of the problems. So by 2015, he was back home in San Bernardino, and he murdered his disabled father, another person, and the alarm installation guy from ADT, because the disabled father and his caregiver were afraid of him because of his psychiatric problems. Well, he killed all three with a bat. 2015, he was just convicted on Thursday.
A former Major League Baseball prospect from Corona has been found guilty of killing 3 people, 2 of them relatives, in 2015. A jury found 27-year-old Brandon Martin guilty of killing his disabled father, his uncle, and a family home to install an alarm system because the family feared Brandon. They were beaten to death with a baseball bat. Martin was found guilty with special circumstances of multiple murders, making him eligible for the death penalty. In 2011, Martin was the 38th overall MLB draft pick selected by the Tampa Bay Rays. The team released him in 2015.
I barely remember the story. And what jogged my memory was seeing that he was 5 years later was convicted, and whatever happened to him happened after high school. He was even 5150'd at one point. But because of our laws, if there's not a corresponding conviction or crime, a 5150 hold, when people say 72-hour hold, that's a maximum 72-hour hold. It could be a 1-hour hold. It's a maximum 72-hour hold. And if the person can articulate that everything's fine, they're let go. But so anyway, he disagreed with his father swearing out the 5150 and having him committed for 72 hours and killed 3 people with a bat, including the poor guy who was there just to install the ADT alarm system. So shocking, eh? 81-year-old Harbor Gateway man died in a fire believed to have been caused by a heater early Sunday morning, fire officials said. Firefighters responded to the blaze around 6:34 a.m. to find heavy smoke and fire showing from the single-story home. This is according to LA Fire Department. Neighbors were trying to get to the man who was trapped inside by the flames. His daughter was also trying to rescue her father. The crew quickly extinguished the blaze, later eventually finding the man who was pronounced dead at the scene. LAFD spokesman David Ortiz said, quote, the cause of the fire was determined to be the accidental use of an outdoor heating element of propane being used to heat the home inside, close quote. And this is that time of year. We're in that time of year where one or two things happen. Either people bring in, outdoor, like ice fishing propane heaters, which is an actual, mesh metal burner that diffuses a propane flame. Bring it inside the house. So if you don't die of carbon monoxide poisoning outright, you're going to die when the thing tips over. Or the other one is the bringing of the barbecue into the house. And it's like they could put up billboards and tell people that, but you never know what language to do it in. But it seems to happen every year. And the cold, it's like where I live, it's like a light switch. We had, did you guys, Tony and Sam, did you guys have snow at your house? I had snow today for about 20 minutes. It didn't stick, but around 2 p.m., it got super cold. The rain turned to sleet, and then the sleet got a little colder, and we had about 20 minutes of snowfall. It was cool. I recommend it. Oh, it was quite magical. And I put on my tutu as usual, and I danced around because I like to test myself against the elements. That's just a tutu and nothing else. There's no, you know what? Sadly, I didn't bring my smartphone, so there's no video of it. So you just have to take my word. When we come back, LAPD will dramatically downsize special units. Wait till you hear what they will not be responding to. If you call this one thing in, they won't come to it. I'll tell you that right after this. It is Super Hyperlocal Sunday Brown Suits in here until 10 p.m. By the way, hashtag have you seen a free couch? I know that we have a rule, an unofficial rule called the rain reset. If you have a couch and you took the picture and then it rained today, we can reset. You can hold those pictures back because nobody wants some of the stuff in those couches rehydrated, if you know what I'm saying. But anyway, we'll do it anyway. If you want to enter it, hashtag have you seen a free couch, and Sam will tabulate the votes and we'll run them through the machine, and Dave Coons for ABC 7 will win. That's guaranteed. We'll be back right after this. KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Danny Max with the news.
I'm Danny Max, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. U.S. COVID cases are up. President-elect Joe Biden is in immunity after being declared winner of the 2020
BRB.
Problems on the 105 next.
Hey everybody, it's Dean Sharp. Your home is your sanctuary, and if you're like me, that has never been truer than this year. You want to stay safe and healthy, which is why I want you to have safe and healthy water that you don't have to keep buying in bottles at the store. With a Life Source whole house water system, you'll never need bottled water again because you'll have clean, delicious water at every faucet in your house. No salt, no chlorine, no chloramines, and no filters to change or maintenance of any kind for years. Just install it, forget about it. Drink it, cook with it, bathe in it, all for less than buying bottled water. Light Source can preview your plumbing and install the system without entering your home. You buy direct from the Southern California factory. There are no dealers, no middleman. Everything is U.S. made. Call LifeSource today for full service and full confidence in your water. Call them at 800-334-5009. That's 800-334-5009. Or visit lifesourcewater.com. LifeSource Water. Taste and feel the difference.
Southland weather from KFI. Tonight, cool and cloudy with a chance of rain. A high surf advisory is in effect until 10 o'clock tonight. Tomorrow, sunny with highs in the mid-60s. We have a crash in Norrock on the 105.
This is on the 105 eastbound connector to the 605 southbound. Little fender blocking that transition road. Your drive is bunching up as you approach. And in Pomona, this is on the 71 southbound at Rio Rancho Road. We have a collision in CHP blocking the off-ramp right there. You're seeing delays throughout that area. And in Riverside, this is on 15 southbound right before Bundy Canyon. We have police activity. It's out of lanes and on the right shoulder, but you're seeing some looky-loo delays in that stretch. This report is sponsored by iAccidentLawyer.com. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Brian Vance.
iAccidentLawyer.com. Tired of the BS? We spent $500,000 of our money at risk. Result: $8 million for leg injured motorcyclists.
Do you believe in miracles?
Anthony and Gigi most certainly do. So when their sewer line burst, there was no hesitation.
They faithfully called the smell good plumber.
I'm gonna get home and watch The Good Lord Bird. Are you guys watching The Good Lord Bird on Showtime? It's from the novel about John Brown, the John Brown Revolt in Harper's Ferry, West Virginia. Ethan Hawke is John Brown. It's really good. It is really, really good.
Unsurprisingly, this isn't Anthony and Gigi's first experience with Mike Diamond Plumbing. They're always professional, quick to respond, reasonably priced.
And every tech is extremely friendly.
In other words, Mike Diamond Plumbing has been nothing short of miraculous.
He really was. John Brown was a fucking zealot. He was insane.
Schedule your service at MikeDiamond.com or call 1-800-446-MIKE.
Contractor license number 399.
Javier's Auto Body is colliding with a shortage of licensed techs.
That 2017 is waiting on a clear coat, that 09 needs its left rear sanded, pounded, and painted, and the guy over there is waiting on an estimate.
It's time to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed, you do. The moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates.
Being progressive legislation. I mean, theoretically, you can pass anything you want in the House, but it doesn't matter if it goes to die in the Senate. How are you going to negotiate that? Are you going to work with more moderate Senate Republicans to try to pass something in the House that can get through the Senate?
Well, I'm going to be spending my next couple of months doing everything that I can to extend help and offer support to the work of fantastic leaders that we just heard from, like Stacey Abrams, to make sure that we don't have a Republican Senate majority, that we win these races in Georgia, that we secure a Democrat, so that we don't have of fantastic leaders that we just extend help.
No big deal. Everybody felt fine, but now I'm super sick.
Yeah, there's going to be 2 runoff elections in Georgia for the 2 Senate seats, and they're going to be the most expensive Senate races ever.
Outside, keep 6 feet of distance, because some things you just can't take back.
Do your part to lower the risk. Learn more at covid19.ca.gov. Brought to you by the Center at Sierra Health Foundation. It's time to go solar with local veteran-owned Solaris now and get all the benefits. $500 downloadable coupon, $500 military and first responder discount, and $0 down, 0 interest, 0 payments till 2022. Call now, 877-211-5591, or visit SimplSolaris.com. 6% federal tax credit based on eligibility. Total taxes by your solar federal tax credit is 22% in 2021.
I'm queued up.
Being in the Army National Guard is about more than serving your country. It's about being there for your community when your neighbors need you most. The Army National Guard makes college affordable, and serving part-time can help you graduate debt-free. Do you want to stay close to friends and family? The Guard allows you to serve close to home. Serving part-time in the Army National Guard lets you have the life you want. Learn more by visiting nationalguard.com.
Sponsored by the California Army National Guard, aired by the California Broadcasters Association and this station. What are you doing to keep your nose clean?
Yeah, there's two Senate runoffs in Georgia for the two Georgia Senate seats. And if Democrats win them, then Biden has a one-party state for at least 2 years, which would guarantee a Republican Congress in 2022. But you can do a lot of damage with a radical agenda and Democratic Congress in 2 years.
It has over 30,000 online reviews averaging 4.7 stars. Why? Because Navage is easy to use. It's inexpensive, all natural, drug-free, and safe, and most important, it works. Think about it. You wash your hands every day. Maybe it's time to clean your nose, too. Breathe better, sleep deeper, feel, and be healthy. Online at Navage.com and at Target, CVS, Walgreens, Bed Bath, and Rite Aid. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
20 years, 6 Super Bowl championships. The New England Patriots of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick are the greatest dynasty in NFL history. Join me for a new podcast, The GOAT, Tom Brady, where I pull back the curtain on the greatest run of sustained success by one player and one team in NFL history. The GOAT, Tom Brady, is available now. Listen and follow on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Everything you're reading and hearing from most of the mainstream media is just flat out false. And I don't open the newspaper, I don't turn on the TV news and find out what they think the world ought to be. I want to know what is. John and Ken, weekdays at 2. Here, we tell you what is. Not what we wish it were. It's what is. On KFI.
KFI AM 640, super hyper local Sunday, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Wind all over the Southland, and you might be listening on a battery-powered AM radio. I don't know, because there's lots of people with power out still, and SoCal Edison still working and efforting at those. If your power's out, just go over to your PC and fire up that internet and then look on their website at sce.com or whatever it is. I don't know. Maybe you have the app and your phone is still has power. I reflexively buy those little power up batteries at Target or what. Where I'm in line, you look over, it's like a 2-pack of 10,000 milliamp hour batteries for $6, and I just reflexively buy them, and then I juice them up, and I just stack them. So politically, the big deal between now and January 20th, the inauguration, when Hillary finally gets her due and is sworn in as the 46th president of the United States because Joe Biden resigns. The next big deal is January 5th. Because right now, here's where the Senate stands, 48 to 48. But wait, I thought there were 50 states. There are. In Alaska, it's the Republican is leading, Lisa Murkowski, but they haven't called it yet. In North Carolina, the Republican is leading, but they haven't called it yet. If they win, and they should win, they probably will win, especially Murkowski, it'll be 50 to 48. So the Georgia runoff, both Senate seats in Georgia are coming down to a January 5th runoff. And more money will be spent on these two Senate races than any presidential election before 2016. The reason being, if Democrats win both seats, then it's 50-50. But it's not really 50-50, is it? Because the vice president is going to be Kamala Harris, and she is the president pro tem of the Senate. She breaks ties. And if there's a tie every single time, she will be down there breaking ties. That's how that works. So that is their goal, is to get both seats. And then you would have a single party state. Congress all blue, White House all blue, for at least 2 years. It probably wouldn't stay like that, but anyway, that's the bottom line. Here in this state, there's a lot of speculation that Newsom is good buddies with Alex Padilla, the Secretary of State, He's closer with Padilla than he is with Javier Becerra, the attorney general, because they were the odds-on favorites, because they have the number one qualification that Gavin Newsom loves. They have ethnic names, and it makes him look like a really, really diverse guy when he sends people with ethnic names to Washington, because that's because he's driving down the lane, down the road, and he left his virtue signal on. But there's a lot of pressure in the Democratic Party. He also likes doing that because then he can name the replacement, right? Because the AG works for the governor and the Secretary of State works for the governor. But there's also a lot of pressure to replace a woman of color, Kamala Harris, with a woman of color. And so the Bay Area liberal stalwart Barbara Lee is also a very heavy favorite. Very well known in DC. She's been there for years and years and years and years. And it is thought that, and if you're Gavin Newsom, and it's all about the appearance of things, whether it's your hair or doing that power diamond with your hands down by your crotch when you're contemplating questions, it's all about appearance. And so if he sends a Hispanic man from California, well, whatever, he gets a tip of the cap, but he's already governor. He's already got the Hispanic vote in California. But if he sends the first black woman to be senator wait, that's not right. There was a black woman from Illinois. I forgot her name. Carol Moseley Brown. That's her name. Anyway, if he sends a black woman, he gets that much more virtue signaling. And so I would say that when in doubt, go for the loudest virtue signal, and that would be Barbara Lee. Not that it matters to us in California, because they all vote the same. All California Democratic senators vote the same. But anyway, that's if you're feeling withdrawal symptoms from politics, don't worry, you'll get them, because the entire nation is about to tell Georgia who they should elect as a senator. And just imagine how would you feel if the entire nation was telling California who to send to Washington? Well, if you get into a fender bender in LA, don't bother calling police. They won't show up. LAPD is in the coming months is going to downsize its specialized units and stop responding in person to traffic collisions and other minor incidents as part of a broad reorganization aimed at preserving patrol and community engagement functions amid new fiscal constraints. So you will call. They may give you a case number for your insurance policy or something, but they're not going to come out. So just don't. I predict hit and runs go way up. That's what I'm saying. I predict that dashboard cameras have a golden age of sales, because you're going to want to record on a 30-minute loop every minute of your time in traffic in Los Angeles, because that will be the only record of a vehicular accident. And your insurance will go up if you don't have that record. There is that. Well, how are the COVID? In all this confusion, I've forgotten how many COVID cases we've had. LA County has an update for us, and does that really matter? Do we care about cases if we don't know how many tests were given? No, we don't. But we'll try to sort through that when we come back. Hashtag have you seen a free couch? That's in effect on this windy and winny Sunday night. KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Danny Max with the news.
New daily COVID-19 cases in the United States hit a record 128,000 on Saturday. A straight day of more than 100,000 new cases. The COVID tracking project says nursing homes and other long-term care facilities account for 1% of the U.S. population, but represent 40% of COVID-19 deaths. This report brought to you by Mike Diamond, the Smell Good Plumber. 9 people within the LA Dodgers organization and a family member have tested positive for COVID-19. The team did not release the
Why do I care about the Dodgers' positive COVID tests?
department's website. None of them
Know what I'm saying?
positive or allegedly inside the playoff bubble in Texas. A Missouri election supervisor who knew they tested positive for the coronavirus and still worked at a polling site on election day has died.
I believe that Biden has read the public health emergency law that is currently on the books, and he's going to invoke all of it. And that might be mandatory contact tracing. Is it a case you have to download an app And the reason is because he's being told by other, Democrat-leaning health people that the way they did it in Iceland is really effective, or the way they did it in Taiwan. It's way, way different. Their relationship with their government is way, 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 way different. They don't consider this an invasion of their privacy. Americans, a mandatory use of an app. And then if you said, I don't have a phone, they'll say, oh, well, T-Mobile says you have a LG V40 Think, and you made calls on it this morning. That time could be about 70 days away. But to be honest with you, if it was 1918 and they had that ability, they would have done it in 1918. But it would have been justified because that was a far deadlier influenza, not a coronavirus. The Rams had a bye, right? Yeah, the Spanish flu was not like this, where it kills a lot of old people. More than 50% are over 70, and that's our fault. It's not my fault. It's LA County's fault for putting recovering COVID patients in long-term care facilities. So Barbara Ferrer, in just approving that, instead of telling people when they discharge from the hospital to go home and isolate, she was putting them in long-term care facilities. Oh, we got a man and woman shot and killed in East LA at a gas station. Yeah. All right, I'm good. KFI AM 640, Super Hyperlocal Sunday. Brian sits in here till 10 o'clock. Hashtag, have you seen a free couch? If you have seen a free couch and you want us all to know about it, put a dog in the picture for style points and upload it to Twitter. Hashtag, have you seen a free couch? And I'll play this. I retweeted this earlier. Did producer Sam, did you see that thing I tweeted about the heart, the donor heart being flown up from San Diego? This is crazy. I don't know. I guess I understand there was like bigger fish to fry on the news on Friday, But this was insane. A donor heart was harvested, as they say, in San Diego on Friday. It's flown up to USC Keck in Boyle Heights in a Augusta Westland 109 helicopter with a pilot and then two people that accompany the organ. So the heart is in literally, a cooler. Helicopter is landing on the helipad at USC Keck, which is like 8 stories up on top of a parking structure. Helicopter loses power in the tail rotor, and it looks like OS, like it's going to fall 8 stories onto the street, but the pilot somehow crashes it onto the roof of where the helipad is, so they don't go over the edge. Then fire arrive, they extract the crew, everyone is good. They use the jaws of life to get into the helicopter and get the heart. So then KTLA's helicopter is overhead, and they're watching the LA Fire guys extract the heart in the cooler out of the helicopter on Friday afternoon. They get the heart out. They hand it to a medical person who's going to take it down to the transplant, and he's gingerly holding it in both hands and walking very deliberately with both hands. He's got the heart in his hands, trips and falls. The heart, it's not a heart like out like a meat market. It's in layers of plastic and ice and all that. But the guy trips and falls, drops the heart on the helipad, and gets up, picks it up, and I'll play the report for you. But the reporter insists that the transplant happened with no issues, no nothing, whatever. It's just like, boy, if you thought you had a bad day. But that was Friday, and I just heard about that today. Stories that are breaking really late here on this Sunday night. A man and woman have been shot and killed at a gas station in East LA. Waiting for more details on that. The authorities LAPD is there right now, so we don't know much more than that. Early this morning on the 10 in San Dimas, 2 occupants in a Nissan were killed when their car was rear-ended by a speeding motorist who rear-ended them so fast that the Nissan went out of control. The crash was reported at 2:08 a.m. on the eastbound 10, just west of Villa Verde. A motorist, possibly a 16 or 18-year-old male, rear-ended the 2018 Nissan at a high rate of speed. The occupants made the Nissan, the occupants inside the Nissan, a 30-year-old woman and a 40-year-old man, were rushed to Pomona Valley Hospital where they died from their injuries. CHP reported that the male victim was identified as Daniel Miramontes of Rialto. The occupants in the other vehicle, a 16-year-old boy and an 18-year-old man, both from Richmond, were also rushed to Pomona Valley Hospital. The 18-year-old suffered major injuries. The 16-year-old suffered moderate injuries. So the witnesses said the black Honda Odyssey minivan collided with the Nissan, and that 2 people fled on foot as well. So that happened early this morning. Well, what about the COVIDs? Are they still running rampant here in LA County? LA County health officials Saturday announced more than 2,400 new COVID-19 cases. They didn't tell us how many tests were done, but we're now testing at a record level, so keep that in mind. It's the 3rd consecutive day with more than 2,000 confirmed infections, and signaling that the disease is, quote, widespread and increasing in LA County. However, hospitalizations have only experienced a slight bump. So again, as I reiterate every time I read these numbers, cases just means that when they pulled the Q-tip out of your snot locker and ran it as a test, the COVID-19 RNA from the viruses, the coronavirus's outer wall are present. Were you symptomatic? More than likely, 97% of the time, you were not symptomatic. But nevertheless, they continued to throw cases at us and not give us any context. So just keep in mind, cases just means that there's a lot of people walking around with it. And by the way, I mean, you saw the same campaign commercials I did. Biden is talking about a mandatory nationwide mask mandate. A president in a public health emergency has that authority. And there's also talk of mandatory trace testing if you are positive for a case. And I think what you have there is a recipe for no one to get tested. Nobody would voluntarily test if that is what happens, because they're looking admiringly at Iceland and Taiwan, where in the case of Iceland, if you are positive, you have to download an app that traces where you go, and it also downloads where you have been. Would Americans stand for that? I don't think so. Does it matter that the force of federal public health law is behind it? I don't think it would matter to a lot of people. But anyway, we're going to enter a brave new world in 2020. So just get ready for it. All right, when we come back, I don't know. I guess everybody loved Alex Trebek. And I should just point out that Alex Trebek loved the Will Ferrell impression that he did when Saturday Night Live was actually funny, and they would do the Saturday Night Live skits of Jeopardy, and Sean Connery couldn't read. Have you guys ever seen those? I have it on good authority that that Alex Trebek would appreciate playing of that clip. And you know what I don't have? There was a Celebrity Jeopardy a couple of years ago, and Wolf Blitzer was on an episode with, who's Conan O'Brien's sidekick? Andy something or other? Andy Richter. And I forget who the third person was. I'll try to find it on the YouTube. Everything's on YouTube. But Wolf Blitzer, who's supposed to be one of the most serious, learned, smart men in TV news and the whole thing, he literally wound up $3,000 underwater on Celebrity Jeopardy, and Andy Richter kicked his ass. I'll try to find it, but it was those were the times that I respect Alex Trebek for not showing how much contempt he had to have for somebody like Wolf Blitzer winding up $3,000 underwater on Jeopardy. All right, that and the winner, of course, of Have You Seen Free Couch? When we come back, KFI AM 640. It is Super Hyper Local Sunday on a windy Sunday, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Danny Max with the news.
President-elect Biden's transition website is up and running. BuildBackBetter.com maps out the president-elect's priorities when he takes office. The LAPD is scaling back patrols due to budget cuts, and new daily COVID-19 cases in the United States hit a record 128,000 on Saturday. We have a crash.
That wasn't a full pick, by the way. That was not a pick.
Mike Diamond came to my rescue.
He did.
No, not mine. Dana's.
Dana?
She's in Anaheim. I'm reading her testimony.
I'm getting a battery alert. So the show's basically over anyway. So anyway, thanks everyone for
She wrote, Mike Diamond came to my
sticking with
power of me calling.
the show. So I'll do a live stream tomorrow, and I'll drop a Connect Pal on the update with Taiwan. And by the way, Kim Jong-un, whoever's leading Korea, Kim Jong-il or Kim Jong-un, whenever there's a new president, they always do something to test the incoming administration. So we'll talk about that too.